Talk more about the implications of the Cohen plea with Catherine here, and also joining us from New York, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, you hear the president. He says, listen, I was a businessman. I was running for president. I could do this. The deal never came around. It didn't materialize. Where is the threat to the president in this particular development today?
Well, the statements that the president made, which you just summarized, are all probably true, and they don't reflect anything unlawful. But the danger for him is whatever Micheal Cohen told Bob Mueller's investigators in the 70 hours that they debriefed him sometime in the past 3 or 4 months. The last time Micheal Cohen pleaded guilty, the prosecuting entity was the federal prosecutors here in New York in the same courthouse. Today, when he pleaded guilty, it was Bob Mueller's team, which came up from Washington, D.C. So we don't know what Micheal Cohen gave Bob Mueller in return for reducing his exposure from many years in jail down to 6 months. That's the danger to the president. And we may never know it. It depends how Bob Mueller wants to use it. Micheal Cohen is not somebody that Bob Mueller is going to put on the witness stand any more than he's going to put Paul Manafort on the stand. But he can take the information they gave him, and if he can corroborate it through a credible source, use it thereafter.
Right, and that's important because, Catherine, to Judge's point, I mean, you are losing credibility when you charge somebody criminally with lying. Correct. He has done that numerous times now, so these people are not exactly the best witnesses if you're bringing a case forward. Right. But we don't know what else Mueller has to corroborate some of this stuff.
We don't, and the criticism of the special counsel is that these are all process crimes. These are lying to federal investigators. They are lying to Congress. I'm not in any way minimizing that, but it doesn't go to the core issue of the allegation of coordination between the Trump campaign and Russian officials. Something that really caught my attention today is that people should be prosecuted for lying to Congress, but other individuals at the heart of the Russia case, such as Christopher Steele, who was the author of the Trump dossier. He is the subject of a criminal referral from the Senate Judiciary Committee. Also, Glenn Simpson of Fusion GPS. His firm was played by the DNC and the Clinton campaign to put the dossier together, and he has a problematic testimony to Congress. So publicly, we haven't seen any action on those cases. Maybe privately it's happened, but Cohen is really the first person we see pay a penalty. You
know, Judge, it does seem like this is coming to a head. It also seems perhaps that Mueller or his team have concerns about Matt Whitaker, the acting attorney general, and that maybe some of these court filings are really about getting the story as they see it out, just in case the report doesn't make it through that block of Matt Whitaker at the Justice Department.
Well, yeah, well, you're right about that. I mean, in examining the special counsel rules, it's interesting. The special counsel doesn't need acting Attorney General Whitaker's approval to do anything. He merely must inform acting Attorney General Whitaker, Matt Whitaker, of whatever he's going to do, which we gather from the reporting of our colleague John Roberts happened last night at about the same time that the White House learned about this. But you're correct. A lot of things have happened since the midterm elections, and this has been a critical week. I don't think that we've seen the end of this. I described what happened in court this morning as, it's a trite phrase, but I think it's accurate here, the tip of the iceberg. Bob Mueller knows what the rest of that iceberg is. Micheal Cohen knows what the rest of that iceberg is. Mueller will decide when, how, and under what circumstances, if at all, to let the rest of us know.
Yeah, it does seem like everything went a little bit more fast forward, Catherine, after the president filed the answers to those questions, which you said included one about this real estate deal.
That's right. I think that was one of the big revelations today, is that Special Counsel Mueller, among those questions, did ask about this proposal to build a tower in Moscow by the Trump Organization. Up until now, that was certainly not known to us through our reporting. And what Rudy Giuliani, the president's attorney, said to us today is that they don't see any contradiction between the president's written answers and what was stated in the Cohen plea. So they still feel very comfortable. But the timing, when you line up the data points, certainly has that feel of almost a cascading or a domino effect.
You know, Judge, we've seen all kinds of reporting here. There's new reporting right now. BuzzFeed has a story saying that President Trump's company planned to give a $50 million penthouse at Trump Tower in Moscow to Vladimir Putin as the company negotiated this luxury real estate development during the 2016 campaign, according to 4 people. We don't have that independently confirmed. We've seen other stories fall apart. So we'll be careful about this. But is the argument that a negotiation, even if he's doing a business deal, that as that's happening with a hostile foreign power, as he's running for president and eventually becomes president, that it is potentially something that could be held over the head of the president by Russia?
You know, I think the president's statement today, you ran a clip of it earlier when John Roberts was on, in which he said, what's the big deal? This is a deal we didn't do. I think he's on very solid ground there. The problem for the president will come if, for example, Micheal Cohen says the president told me to lie, and I lied before the Senate Intelligence Committee because he and I decided to concoct a scheme to trick people. That's where the president will be impaled. But not doing a deal, no matter how luxurious it was or lurid it was, not doing it can't hurt him.